We see each child as an individual. We recognize that each individual has certain strengths, certain challenges. It's our job to help them to be the best that they can be. And when we focus on finding out where they're at, we can help them to grow to be the best that they can be. And I think the blended learning approach just fits naturally into that.
Before blended learning, it was overwhelming to have such a wide range of abilities, and it was difficult as the teacher to try to figure out how to help them all in the same class as whole group instruction. Trying to meet each of those students where they're at in one lesson just was unattainable.
The program through Notre Dame was vital to us getting that buy-in, that understanding of what impact this could have. Again, our teachers just recognize the value that this model brings in helping to identify what each student needs.
So once we started blended learning and higher powered learning, I was able to put what I was saying into practice and actually personalize learning for students and adjust those goals so that growth looked different for everybody, but they each had high expectations of themselves and something they could look forward to that was attainable for each of them. Blended learning is amazing. Even in kindergarten, you walk into our classroom a few months into school and there's just a buzz. The kids are working, they're engaged in their Chromebooks, they're working collaboratively, there's a buzz at my table and we're working on concepts, and it's just so happy. And I have such a better understanding of my students, which makes me a better teacher and it supports them better as a learner. And it's just an amazing thing to be a part of.
So we started with a group of teachers and our principal just learning from the great folks at Notre Dame just about what blended learning is and about how to implement that in our classroom. So we started with four classrooms piloting blended learning, and then those 4 teachers became coaches the following year to help push it out to our whole school.
When we look at the fact that we're having our teachers sit down in small groups talking to each individual student, that's when they're getting to know those students, when they get that connection. Then they can use the data that they're getting from the software that we use, from the conversations that they have, from the other work that they do, to have this full picture of where a student is at in their educational journey.
The idea of that is that software is adaptable. So it's adapting to the needs of each student in my classroom. I also am able to get data from that software and use the data to make decisions on what particular groups of students might need at the teacher station, or what they might need for their independent work, or maybe I'm seeing something as a trend that the whole class needs.
When we know where they're at, we know what they need to continue moving forward. And a blended learning approach allows us to do that efficiently and effectively.
With blended learning, it is just such an opportunity to know your students in such a deeper and more meaningful way. Students are getting more opportunities to work in a smaller group with me as the teacher or with their peers, and the connections are just deeper. Yes, I know them as learners better, but I also get to hear more of their stories and how they're connecting with texts that we're reading.
We really want our students to leave here confident in who they are as people. And when we can provide them the tools to know not only what they know, but what they don't know, they can be confident in going into the world. As long as they know themselves and are confident in who they are as human beings, that makes a big impact on what they can do with their lives. We recognize as Catholics that we are a small piece of a very large puzzle. And when we recognize the connections that we have with other people and how much what we do and say can impact others, then we make decisions that keep others at the forefront of our minds.
I do think students are more empowered, and I think the mindset of our school has shifted. And so celebrating growth rather than achievement has been a huge shift. And it truly is about forming the whole person and honoring the students who are put in front of you every day, and recognizing that those students are part of God's creation and an intentional part of the creation.
My students have grown leaps and bounds over the years, and I think it is absolutely thanks to blended learning and the model we've implemented in our classes to give them the personalized learning that they need and help them be the most successful they can be.
Higher powered learning has really helped support me in understanding and encouraging me to grow, not just as a blended learning teacher, but as a teacher and as a teacher leader in my school.
The impact at the end is that our students grow. They grow in their mind, but also their faith, because they're learning in a Catholic school, obviously. But their confidence in what they know and how to learn is what really makes a difference.